welcome to Strategy Battle Games, the GBHL YouTube channel. You're here with your host GBHL Jamie
and Jay Finnegan,
Guild Ball Informer. Now, it's another week's edition of Speak Friend and Question. Last week we did an audio file which some of you listened to and watched and have obviously posted comments, and some of you didn't because we only have 18. So, kicking off, your friend.
Yeah,
and my friend.
Do you not like him?
No,
he doesn't like you, Steve.
I've not seen him from
No for his Hobbit campaign, Steve Crow, who has vanished.
Yeah, no for his Hobbit campaign. When's that been running since?
Now he starts really manly with this comment, which is he, comma. Number one.
Have you watched last week's?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not much use it. He's put one. You've only ever been with Damien once on this count.
Yeah, it's true.
2, you and Billy both really wanted it to happen. Ha ha ha. Any other announcements on the channel? Giblin? ?
No, nothing, no announcements, no. We're all good.
Cool.
That was, obviously Damien and I did it by Skype last week.
Yeah.
And I was saying, we've actually only ever been on the channel together when we're on Damien's couch, so we've only ever done it on Damien's couch.
So you've only done it on his couch. And
yeah. Billy and I can't remember what it was in reference to, but we both really wanted it to happen. I think it was like...
Was this the Iron Guard who killed the dragon?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Moved on and...
Killed Morgoth.
Yeah.
Wanted to kill Morgoth. Both really wanted it to happen.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Next.
Billy's a bit rude there.
It did happen, just not on camera. Did it, Billy?
Cheers.
Did it really?
Joe White says, about my question, Bilbo has been FAQ'd to be in the Shire. I think I would also need to Kate him to lead the warband. Take him. Yeah. Sam would have been leading. So Sam the builder. My question this week is, which Haldir do you prefer?
The unarmoured one, the model's way cooler.
Yeah. You think not profile?
Profile, probably the armoured one that goes nuts when you kill him, just because really cool.
Defender of Helm's Deep.
Yeah, that's the one.
See, I prefer the other one with 2 shots because it's more shots a turn.
Yeah, true.
With 3 might attached to it.
Yeah, I just like the idea of him dying and going berserk like the films. That's pretty cool.
You got a list.
Oh, nice. Okay, so next we got Elias Kvint, and he says, "Hello, Jamie and James?" ? Where you got?
It's not James.
Jamie and Jamie. Jay. Yeah, I'll take that. I am going to give you guys another list. So here it is: Legolas of armour and elven cloak, 8 wood elves with bow and spear.
Good. Yeah.
4 wood elves with 2 spears and 2 elven blades.
Good.
Spot on. Rumil, 4 guards of the Gladrim Court, 8 wood elves with 6 spears and 2 elven blades.
Yep.
Thranduil with armour and bow, 8 Mirkwood Rangers. Keep up the great work.
Is that still over the bow limit? 8,
Mirkwood Rangers are 100 with Thranduil.
The Mirkwood Rangers is fine. 8, 12.
You got 6.
24. So 8's fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'd put 2 Galadrim Court in each warband of the wood elf side.
Mix your bows and spears up and mix
Other
your
than that,
Galadrim. That looks decent.
That's a good list. Yeah.
How many points is that, do you reckon? About 500, I think. 500, 600?
Yeah, it's got to be 600, isn't it? It's got to be 650.
Decent.
Very good list though, seems solid.
Billy, he says, I'll
tell you what, you be Damien, I'll be Jamie.
Okay. How big is Ed's?
Don't know, never seen it.
What? The pack?
Yeah, sure.
Best speaker English from ever. That was in reference to, obviously Damien was asking how big Ed's tournament's going to be, and I was making a rude joke.
Billy.
Yeah. P.S. Thank you, Damien, for your kind words regarding my appearance on Speak Friend and Question. This has been a fun listen. I definitely prefer these kind of episodes with 2 people rather than solo videos. Not that I don't enjoy the solo videos, but I think everyone can agree that the content is always more fun when there are multiple hosts.
Yeah, I enjoy
agree
it
as
more
well.
when there's 2 people to watch.
I prefer doing the videos more when there's a second person there as well to bounce off and make conversation with, rather than yourself being the sole.
There's more to watch, and like you say, you get the rapport between the 2 people to look at as well, which is good fun. Let's have a look. Right, next, Wobachika.
Or Wobchika. There's no extra O.
Just Wobchika.
Wobchika.
Wobchika. I apologise, Wobchika.
Wobchika.
Okay, he says, woo! Exclamation mark. Damien on Speak Friend and Question. Glad you enjoyed the question. Just a suggestion for next time, get both people to record their audio. Damien drops off just a few times. My question this week is SBG unrelated. Do you prefer cats or dogs, and why?
Cats. all day long. Used to have a cat as a kid. Was at a pub tonight. There was a cat, and I was very happy.
Jamie fell in love with a cat a couple of hours ago. I very much jump between the two, but if I had to pick one, I would say dogs. My first ever pet was a dog called Gizmo. Very cool. That's probably why, just sentimental value for me.
Yeah, it's same with the cat for me. And also, as for your other comments, as a suggestion, getting people to record their audio, it would be a monumental effort to get those to sync up and make a regular conversation between people. Like if you had two conversations, each just one person's half, you'd have to sync them up perfectly to get the sort of banter between the two of them correct. Otherwise, you'd have one person talk, and it'd be like when reporters talk to each other on live news.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You're like, so how was the day today?
It was okay, thank you.
No, thanks for picking up.
So I got it.
Get on back.
Just sort of give it a nice
delay,
just to really emphasise it.
Just so, like doing the Skype interviews and the Skype calls will be something we don't try to do too often, but to get that second person in, it might be something we do in the future, just to ensure we get the second voice.
Yeah. Is it you, me?
That's me, man. It's Patrick Brummeyer. He says, not really a question, but I'd really like to see some content on the top 10 lists and breakdown of them. Cheers, guys. Well, top 10 list is quite hard for The Hobbit.
Yeah,
there isn't a top 10. There's not.
No, there isn't.
There's competitive lists and lists that have done well recently, but there's no sort of definitive top 10. Anything can win.
No, you could never say these are the best 10 lists because they just aren't 10.
It depends on the scenarios, and if you look at Tom Harrison, GBHL Tom, he won the event with Hunter Oaks, which is not anyone was ever expecting.
No, they wouldn't be in a top 10.
They wouldn't make it in your mind's top 10. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. And then next we've got Mason O'Neill. He says, greetings Giblin and possibly James.
Next week.
But you're lumbered with me this week. Thanks for all the great content to keep me busy. My question is, what is the best way to run a small warband of Army of the Dead, ally-wise and tactic-wise? Thanks again. To be honest, every time I've seen the Army of the Dead, it's led by the King of the Dead, who is rubbish.
That's the theme, isn't it?
Yeah, I've always seen it used very theme-wise, because they're all very expensive.
They either seem to be run by the Army, the King of the Dead, or a Knight of the Lamroth painted in ghostly colours.
Yeah, on horse.
To be like a Knight of the Dead, essentially.
Yeah.
And ally-wise, I've seen them go with the 3 hunters.
Yeah.
So you get Aragorn boosting them to move them down along.
The 3 hunters, and then obviously I've seen them with fiefdom stuff, like your clansmen and things like that, and your axemen. They're the 2 times I've seen them. I do think they're just a little bit pricey.
Yeah, a bit too expensive for what their fight value is.
Yeah, definitely.
You're paying for the defence and the
special
rule. Right, so next up is Torin TLA. He says, hi guys, when using your Woes Elves army, do you have any tips for taking down dwarves and other elven armies? Thanks. Taking down dwarves, my advice is to avoid combat as long as possible and keep shooting them.
Piercing strike. With the Woses.
Yeah, with the Woses. If you've done like I have in the UK tournaments, put axes on them, piercing strike's the way to go. You got the higher fight and you might reach strength 5 to make it 5 to wound.
Otherwise, like you say, shooting's the best way. Do as much damage as you can before they hit.
Yeah.
Minimise what's actually going to hit you and you've got more chance.
And against other elves, try to capitalise on the combats where you've got an elven blade and they haven't.
Correct.
And use the Gorns of Glotrum Court to really boost your fights where you've got no elven blade in there. So you get the fight 6 that will beat their dice. And heroes to beat the regular elves.
Yeah, correct.
That would be my advice for that one.
Next up we've got Akathon39 and he says, oh, it's a long one. Nice to have Damien on speak for any question, but I have to say it was slightly jarring only hearing you guys, but oh well. The most horror act in a game of SPG for me was when me and my friend played the SPG scenario Battle of the East Gate, and in 2 consecutive turns, Thror beat back Azog and finally killed him whilst on no might, no fate and only 1 wound. Good work.
That's more than Thror.
That's pretty good. Number 1, an army list building question. How much points roughly ought you spend on heroes compared to troops all across the board? And varying point sizes. How many warbands heroes should you have for different point sizes?
It depends again.
It's a massive question with no wrong answer really, because you can go all hero, which is 100% of your points invested in heroes. There's also a lot to be said for hoarding it and taking really cheap heroes where you spend the least amount on heroes and just bulk out on the troops. And there's also plenty to be said for in between, which is average heroes, fair amount of troops.
For yourself, at 500 points, how many warbands would you like to take?
2.
3
just at a stretch, but there wouldn't be 3 full warbands at 500 points.
So for me at 500 points it'd be 3 warbands, 2 full elves and 1 woses. 600 points?
3 full warbands. I want 3
Again,
full warbands.
for me at least 3 full warbands, like 39 models.
Yeah.
If you went to 1,000?
Oh god, you're looking at... I'd probably have minimum 4, and at 1,000 I'd be taking like wizards and bigger stuff for that points.
So for me at 1,000 I'd be wanting I'd probably 1,000 points take my goblins instead of my elves, and I'd be sort of having 4, if not 3 or 4 goblin warbands, and then lots of individual warbands to supplement them, like fell beasts and shades and things.
Yeah, like the bigger stuff that really you can take in point sizes. Yeah.
And if you went down to 350,
2. You're looking at
2 reasonably sized warbands.
2 decent warbands.
3 for goblins, or you then at that low point you go all hero because the stuff that is counted as all hero probably isn't there. So Aragorn and the twins on horse.
Although JT did a 350, didn't he? And I was going to take 4 warbands of like militia.
That's
3 full and 1 short warband.
That's awful.
Just captains and militia. That's what I planned on taking to that one.
Which
would have been good.
That's great. That would have won. Number 2.
Number 2. Have you had a chance to look at the spreadsheet I sent you, Jamie? If so, what do you think and what's its usefulness to you guys?
If you've sent it to the I Love Wargaming account, I've not checked that for a long time, so probably not. I don't recall seeing the spreadsheet. Resend it to me at jamie.giblin@live.co.uk and I'll probably get in touch with you that way.
I obviously haven't had a look at it. Number 3. What would you say makes Helm's Deep so awesome? The build up, the tension, the small yet massive scale of the battle. I would say all of the above, to be honest. I love the atmosphere, I love the setting, the backdrop. I love the fact that it starts raining before the battle begins. Even just the little bits of banter between Legolas and Gimli. Every part of that, if we're talking movies, obviously every part of what happens in those parts of the films just literally builds to what makes it so awesome. It's hard to say which bits makes it so brilliant because it all lends a part, to be honest.
See, I agree with it all, but I think there's also something that's very British about supporting the little guy. In that particular fight, the Rohan are the little guy, and they are struggling, and they are fighting against the odds. And I think there's something, I don't know if it's British, but I think it is, that you support the little guy, and like when the little guy wins, it's always like, yes, well done.
Of course, you root behind them. Everyone roots behind
them. I think you really root for Rohan in that instance because they're so outnumbered.
Oh, absolutely. They should get absolutely smashed,
But that's why we enjoy Helm's Deep. Next up, we got the Norwegian Viking. He says, "Damn, I missed out last week. You have a good excuse though. I hosted the Norway's biggest gaming convention last weekend, and I hurt my leg during the cleanup. I'm hopping around on crutches, and my leg probably will turn blue and fall off. No, it's all good. But I missed the loop, and that's bad. I'm sorry. Jamie's done a great job, thank you, filling in. So a huge thank you for the effort. To those of you not supporting him on Patreon yet, get on it. If you're not supporting me on Patreon, go donate some money. Why aren't you?
Why not?
Why aren't you?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
I can check.
You're welcome.
Okay, well then. support me more.
More? You got me as a friend.
$100. Big reward.
I don't like it that much.
Big reward. My question this week is, do you ever do seasonal projects? I guess it needs a bit of an explanation. I've done some Space Marine advent calendars where I painted Marine every day for 24 days and then add a character and some vehicles in the days after Christmas. Or for instance, now I'm doing all the wizard sculpts ever produced during my summer holiday. I've never thought of doing that.
No, I've never done anything quite as grand as that. I mean, on a much smaller scale, I work shifts, so I have 4 days in work, I have 4 days off, and I always plan literally what I'd like to get painted in the 4 days. Like at the moment I've been doing Goblin Town, so on my 4 days off I've got like 60 odd goblins, and it's like, right, I'm going to get the skin and the weapons done, XYZ. But I'd quite like to take on a project like that over some holidays. That could be interesting. But no, I've never done anything myself.
And for me, not so much. Mine revolves around the hobby vlogs, seeing what I can get painted in time for the hobby vlog, and if I've actually got anything that needs painting that I want to paint up.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks you, Andreas, for
Cheers,
that.
man. Next we've got Matt Patterson, and he says, Kiora.
It is. I checked this up because I saw this question. I saw this comment. I was like, "What does Kiora mean?" It is.
Isn't that a drink?
Sorry.
Isn't that like a drink when you were a kid? It was. And it had like a puffin on it.
No, that's.
Is that Kiora?
Yeah, that's not.
I'm going to Google it. It was a drink, but anyway, Karen, sorry.
Kiora is. I reject it. Like a New Zealand. Hello, good health.
Ah, okay.
It's like good health, GBHL Jamie.
Ah, cool. Well, Kiora Matt. He says, Kiora GBHL Jamie, possibly James or possibly guest. Yeah.
Guest.
Guest. My question today is the Knights of Arundel are given bows and can have the option to take a shield. Now, can you benefit from the +1 defense of the shield and still use their bows? Yep.
You can do it, as long as you're on horse. You'll
when you dismount it, you lose one.
You keep them both, but you lose the defense bonus because you've got them both.
Yep. A friend and I were unsure, and if yes, then this would help my army a lot. Thanks again for filling in my spare time with great content.
That's alright, to answer your question there, yes, they do benefit from the defence, and when they are dismounted, they suffer the -1 defence. Next up, we've got Resco Nesco. He says, "Hi guys, nice travelling with Jamie and Damien. I'm going on holiday soon, so I'm going to be out of the loop for one. The question is, do you prefer units that are painted like they are in the film, or given their own style?" So that's the first question. You see, for me, I quite like them as the paint in the films.
Yeah, I'd say in the most part, I like them as the paint. Every now and then I will see some...
Unless it's a really, really good paint job.
Yeah, every now and then...
Different.
Yeah, because we all have like a mental image of how things look because we spent that long watching the film.
You think Lothlorien elves, you think blue elves.
Absolutely, yeah.
You think high elves, you think gold and blue.
You do.
And like when you see something different, it's nice. But if they're not painted well, it's kind of like, well, why don't you just do the normal thing?
That's true. No,
it seems a bit harsh, but it's like
yeah,
that's what they're portrayed as.
A very good paint job makes it a lot easier to accept something that's very different to your own perception of it.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I usually prefer something that is very similar to the theme in the films.
I think a really good example is when I very first saw the Berserkers and things like. You know, you want brown skin, you want that sort of orangey tone. And then the very first time I saw Jan Leuchtenberg's blue ones.
Yes.
You know,
they're awesome.
I was like, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'd never have thought I'd have seen a blue Berserker.
No. Well, it's like James's elf army that James Baldwin, Yggdrasil paint series done for me. I've got wood elves in there, I've got high elves, I've got new Morkwood elves, and it's all blue and silver.
Yeah.
And usually it wouldn't work, but the fact that he's done them so stunningly, when you look at it as a whole, it all really stands out as their own. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
But again, on the whole, for me, I like them as they are in the film. Otherwise, it takes quite a good paint job for me to think, that's something else.
That's something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, from a fluff standpoint, do you prefer playing as good or as evil? I always thought fights involving heroes felt more epic when playing good. Now, I'd agree with that. I think you've got the sort of when it's Legolas or Aragorn, you're like, I want Aragorn to win.
That's it. Yeah.
Whereas when it's Grishnak, you're like,
it's just like that goblin dude.
I don't care about this old captain in the same way that
you're right. Yeah.
You have that sort of feeling for them through the films. It's like,
exactly. You develop a bond with the characters that you love in the films, and we all root for good because that's the way the films are made, and that's what we do. So it's natural to like carry on onto the tabletop. So yeah, I'd say you definitely get more involved in your characters in game when it's good.
Yeah,
I'm definitely that way. I find myself much more involved in my fights and stuff when they're good heroes, like you say, as opposed to like orc captains and stuff. So next we've got Lord Lex, and he says, "Hey guys, I was wondering what your thoughts are on the new Age of Sigmar game. I've seen a lot of info the past few days and think it looks interesting. The minis look fun to paint. Do you think you will give it a try? Lord of the Rings SPG will always be our #1 game, but will be fun to try something new."
I'm definitely up for giving it a go.
I'll give it a go.
We've been looking at sort of what I've not looked at the war scrolls and the rules today because we recorded this on Thursday. No, Saturday.
Sunday now.
Well, Saturday single. Yeah, whatever. I've not checked the rules out. From what I've heard from people, it sounds a very, very fun game, very non-competitive and fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of very tongue-in-cheek rules and stuff.
Like, if you do a dance whilst you roll your dice, you get to re-roll the ones or something.
If you keep a straight face during your movement phase without giggling, you re-roll or fail to hit rolls and stuff like that. There's some very crazy rules for certain models in the game.
One of the ones with Chaos, if one of their characters, he's a really great warrior, but he's got a really shiny shield and he just stares at his own reflection the entire time.
Oh, okay.
I think one of the rules is that if you can see yourself in a reflection whilst you're rolling your dice, you get to re-roll your misses. Things like that, things that are just completely nonsensical but sound really fun. So yes, I'm looking forward to Age of Sigmar, and we probably will do a
it's going to pop up at some point, I'm sure.
I'm sure James and I were quite interested in doing
everything's worth trying once at the end of the day. It's worth giving it a go, isn't it? Cool.
What is it that Ian Molly says? Not scared of trying it, I'm scared of liking it.
That's it, yeah.
David Whitaker, he says he's staying in the loop. He's ordered the Mortician starter for Guild Ball.
Yeah, you buddy. Go on, son.
And I'm loving the game so far. Not got a Guild Ball question, but it's probably your coverage that got the Knots lads on board with the game. See, GBTV that is.
Good well fun.
Very good answer for the troll question. I'm not planning to take that anytime soon, but basically the chieftains and the drummer take you to 400 points. Then you add X amount of 100 point trolls up to the tournament's limit, or at 700 points you take 5 troll chieftains. Oh, 5 troll chieftains will be tough with them all hurling. Since my dwarves got another mention, I'm considering expanding my Erebor Endurance folk list, but only wanted to use the Hobbit era models. Would you say that champions of Erebor Ori wielding a staff in a book would make a suitable Floy stand-in? Now, I checked out the Floy model and I think it would make a good decent stand-in.
I mean, I can picture the Floy model. I can vaguely picture the Erebor Ori. Yeah, it'd work. Has Erebor only got that big daft hammer with the funny point on it? Where it
no, that's Bofa.
That's Bofa, okay. Then I can't picture it.
With a huge...
Yeah.
No, that's not him.
Okay. But I can see where you're coming from with that. It could work, yeah.
I'm sure there'll be decent shouts out there. Next up.
Cool. We've got J22.
No, we've got Josh Triffett.
Yeah, I know. Just testing you. Well done. We've got Josh Triffett. And he says, hi Jamie, and maybe James if he's back.
Nope.
Not yet. If you are James...
No, he's not.
No, I'm not. I hope you had a fantastic honeymoon. I didn't. My question this week is, what is your favourite points value to play at a tournament and why? Thanks for all the amazing content. P.S. I hope your Patreon page works out well for you, Jamie.
Thank you very much. My favourite tournament points is 500 points, because that's my Woes Elf sweet spot.
I was about to say 500's my 550. I've played a lot of 550s at JT's. I quite like 550. 550 is probably my favourite.
550 would be decent for me as well.
Yeah.
So I get to boost one of them heroes up a bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
And finally, we got J22, the man who carried James to victory at doubles. He says, hey Jamie, and hopefully James, unfortunately not. It was nice having Damien on last week's Befriended Question. Always nice when you've got someone else on, which I agree with. It's better to have two people.
Always, yeah.
Enjoy the format too, even if it was weird not seeing your faces. Question for this week is, how competitive is a Radagast Alliance list or the Wanderers in the Wild list in the 600 point game? And similarly, a Monster Army for Evil or 2. Thanks for all the great content, J22. So, as lists on their own, they're not competitive.
Not massive. Wanderers in the Wild can be, because they can take Gandalf and then Treebeard.
They can't take Gandalf.
Can they not? No. I imagine that.
You've completely lied.
Okay, I'm wrong. They're not that competitive, then, no?
And then Wanderers in the Wild can take Tom, Goldberry, Treebeard, Guahir, Banderbust. No.
Not even older, I guess.
Just stop talking.
Okay.
You're awful. Banderbust, Old Bilbo, Garnbrigarn, and I think maybe someone else to lead troops.
Yeah. And
they can lead Woes as Great Eagles or Ents.
Ah, they're not that great.
So I've seen a few lists where it's Garn 12 Roses, Treebeard 12 Roses, Banderbust 12 Roses, which is a completely nonsensical list because those are all different time periods. And it doesn't do that great because Roses as a standalone troop aren't fantastic. That is an army. Yeah,
no, as a full army of them, no. As a warband of them, apart from an established army, they're very good, yeah.
Radagast Alliance, that is Radagast, Batariel, Mirkwood Exile, and Bard.
Bayonne as well.
Bayonne, yeah. Leading Eagles.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Is that it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, weird list.
Yeah.
Probably not competitive on its own.
No.
And a Monster Army Freeville, depending on the monsters, yes, very competitive.
I mean, you've got, like you say, 600 points. That's 3 Fel Beasts.
3 Fel Beasts, yeah.
Yeah, very competitive.
Yeah.
A lot more competitive than the good versions can be.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And that is it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we've done. It's 25 minutes.
It's longer than the last one.
It felt longer than 25 minutes this time round.
It did. It felt a bit longer. Yeah.
Wow.
We're powering through these guys.
We are. Well, there are only 18 questions, so I think
more questions next week.
Please answer. You've got faces on the screen this time. Make sure you ask questions next week. There were no new subscribers this week.
What?
Yeah, no new commenters. No one joining the loop.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Madness.
Well, it has been 80 episodes.
That's true.
That's a bit of a
that's no excuse. Hang on, don't justify it.
Okay, sorry.
New people, please.
Yeah. As ever, guys, be sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Support your hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.
Cool. Alright, I'm going to bed.